Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Ohio and a very weird build on the Ohio. Since the new update here, we have a bunch of new commander skills to take a look at. Most of them are focused on battleships, and for the Ohio specifically, we can get ourselves up to 6 heals, and they can come back in less than 30 seconds. Don't mind me here, just changing up my crosshair. This was the first game after I had installed some of my mods back. But the Ohio here normally has 5 heals if you're taking that full heal build, and usually they have a 40-second reload. You can reduce that a little bit, but there's a few new skills that are going to allow the heals to come back even quicker. That new 2-point skill for the battleships that deals with anti-aircraft. Well, anytime there's going to be a plane near us and our AA goes off, any of our consumables are going to be reduced on cooldown by 40%. 40%! That is a lot. That is going to be a massive difference maker, especially on the damage control, but the heal too is going to come back quicker. The other thing we are testing out on this one is the 3-point skill that used to only deal with the heal cooldown. It now also gives you an extra heal charge if you have 2 million potential damage. So those are the things that I'm testing here and what I want you to pay attention to. That potential damage in the top right and the cooldown on some of our consumables here. We're going to just charge in our Ohio and see if we can live. That's really what it comes down to here. Hoping that these fast cooldown heals and just having a ton of them is going to keep us alive as we push towards the A cap, but honestly we're going to take a little detour into the B cap and just stay there for the rest of the game. That's kind of the plan at the moment. But for right now, 55 seconds on the damage control, 26 seconds on our heal. Normal cooldowns. The heal, of course, is a very nice cooldown, just because that's what Ohio normally gets. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get some planes soon so that we can see that. These skills are very, very strong in helping battleships push in. There you go. There come the planes. Suddenly the heal's back up instantly. That one less impactful just because we were like 10 seconds away. But the damage control coming back, we were almost 40 seconds away from our damage control, and now it's 10 seconds from being done. And sure, once the planes go away, we will lose that 40% buff, but we're going to retain all that progress towards the damage control. So it's still just going to be up way sooner. This is a massive change, allowing battleships to get to their very important consumables. We all know how taxed the damage control system really is these days. Fires, floods, damaged guns, engine, rudder getting knocked out by torpedoes, pings from submarines, like... It is so taxed, and yet there's really nothing that they've done to help out the damage control a lot recently. Until now, this seems to be a really, really interesting change to help out that damage control, and your heals too. I think Ohio is a bit of an extreme example for this mega healing buff, but a lot of other battleships should be able to take advantage of it as well. And again, planes come back, and our heal is basically back up instantly again. And we'll heal more and more and more. We're at 1.5 million potential damage, so keep in mind, we've used our 3rd heal now. This is what we're using. We have 2 left in the tank, but assuming we get a little more potential damage, we actually get a whole nother charge. It's extremely powerful, especially if you're looking to push in. I think it will be impactful if you're camping the back as well. I'm a little worried about that personally, that these skills that I am viewing as a help for a battleship to push in and be impactful like this, tank for the team, are simply going to be used to make the kiting, camping battleships at the back of the map even harder to deal with. That's a bit of a worry on my end, but for now, I'm looking at the positive and how it allows me to actually push in here a little bit more. There we go, 2 million potential damage received without very much effort. Notice that we're like not in danger really at all during this match, and that's the point I think I really want to see, is just the Ohio allowing us to push up this hard. And our heals back again. We used our heals so quickly, over and over and over again. Kind of think of it like this heal's going to bring back around 20,000 HP. Unfortunately, the mod that I have that usually tells me the maximum healing I have isn't available quite yet, but around 20,000 HP with this build is what we'd get back. And if you're healing every 30 seconds, you have a new heal available to you. You can almost think of that as every minute you have to deal 20,000 damage to this Ohio just to negate the healing factor of the Ohio. So if you want to take one of these things down, your damage starts mattering at over 20,000 damage per minute, which isn't too hard to do. A couple of fires and, you know, damage coming in. But it's still a tanky hull and 96,000 HP to work with. It's very, very strong here. And I think these cooldowns are a big factor in that. It does help to have an extra charge, of course, on certain maps, but most of the time, I think it's going to be this cooldown, actually. The more I've played with it, I thought it was going to be more impactful to have the extra charge, but the more I've played, the more I've thought about it. I've really only had one day with this patch so far. I got to do more testing, but this cooldown for 2 points for these battleships seems to be almost a no-brainer. You're going to give up either turret traverse, or you're going to give up brisk on some ships. Vigilance, I guess, is the other one, but I mean, even temporary, even if you activate it a couple times, 40% cooldown on your consumables is just a ton. I think the other thing to consider is the times you're going to need that 40% cooldown are the times where a carrier's striking you, or you've pushed in and there's ASW planes around, or you're just close to the enemy team. Maybe they've got a spotter plane up or something. I think those are the impactful moments for that skill, where the buff it gives is useful in situations where you can actually activate the buff. It is a difficult buff to activate. It's not a permanent buff to your ship like some of the other captain skills would be, but given that it's a powerful temporary buff to get, and that it's activated in situations where it's going to be most impactful, like this. Here come some airstrikes for us. You know, it's not impacting our heal or our damage con, because those are available to us right now. But our spotter plane went from like 3 minutes down to a minute 45, just for a little bit here. It's very cool. So I have a bunch of other builds that I need to be working with. But this skill, this 2-pointer skill, is one of the more interesting ones to me that I'm a little surprised about. I thought I'd be a little more interested in some of the other skills, but this one seems to be very, very powerful. And a lot of battleships want that. Everyone wants their consumables back. Front Guns Ohio, by the way, every once in a while. We haven't had the best salvos this game, but certainly did some nasty damage to the Conqueror there with the Front Guns Only Ohio. And you can control games like this, right? Like, the enemy team just got stuck in spawn, and assuming you're able to use some islands, you know, you're gonna die if you just push open water into everyone. We're doing that now because of the cyclone, but if you just push open water, you're still gonna die. Ohio can't out-heal an entire enemy team. But if you're playing smart around islands, like I've talked about over and over again in these brawling battleship videos, this is just a massive buff to the tankiness of an Ohio, and I like that because it allows me to just W key in and survive a lot more than I normally would have. Games have gotten pretty passive, and I've been pretty disappointed in that, so if these skills are what allows me to just W key into the cap zones and really close quarters combat, I am all for it. Again, just a little worried that if suddenly instead of playing W key gaming and you just camp the back, are these skills just going to make it even harder to deal with those battleships? That's the worry, but for now, that is an Ohio game with 3.3 million potential damage, and it looked like a walk in the park, didn't it? Certainly got fortunate to not deal with a carrier, or subs, or smoked up HE spam, sure, but that's still a lot of potential damage. As for the build here on Ohio, I need to be very clear that these are still very much in testing for me. I don't really recommend these builds yet, just because I still have to play around with them. This is not the build that I was running in this video. This is what I was running later on in the stream when I was playing, deciding to give up Emergency Repair Expert. Just to talk quickly a little bit about that, well, suddenly is Improved Repair Party Readiness just giving us the extra heal in the games we need it, which are the games where you survive 2 million potential damage and you need that extra heal? Is it just giving us that extra heal only in the games you need it for a point less than we would normally be paying for it here? And that 1 point then can be freed up to go somewhere else. In games where you never get to that 5th heal, well then, you didn't need it in the first place, so I'd rather just save a point and put it somewhere else. Maybe. Again, still just thinking, brainstorming here, but that's the thought process for this one. This 2-pointer though, man, I gotta say, it is unbelievably awesome. I like it a lot. I don't know how impactful it's gonna be for you guys. This is a bit of the other end of being a CC and people see a PQ in game and they want to go shoot a PQ in game, you know. Maybe the carrier comes my way a little bit more often. Maybe the planes show up around me a little more often. I get a little more benefit out of this, maybe, than you guys will. Not to say that you won't get benefit out of this, because if you push in like I tend to do, recklessly, you'll probably get some value out of it. I like it a lot. So this really was focused around the healing, though, this game. So the build that I was running, again, if you don't see this discount, make sure you go. You know what? We're going to do it in this video, too. I think it's just so sad the way this has gone. Fortunately, Wargaming has come around. I made a community post yesterday, but if you didn't see it, they have come around and given us the option down here to reset all captains. Good change. Awesome. Unfortunately, they've still hidden participation in the normal resets right here. So that's how you get to it. You go to the current update, you go down to the commander skills, it's here. That's the only spot it is. I'm still frustrated about it. It still feels like these dark patterns that a lot of these companies are using, trying to trick people out of their money, forcing them to stay subscribed to things, all that stuff. That's what it feels like to me, which I don't like at all. But to reset these skills and show you what I was running in this game, if you wanted to copy it, I was running this build here. It's really focused on the healing. Yeah, so you get 6 heals this way. Once you reach 2 million, this gives you 5 when you spawn in. This gets you your 6th one as soon as you reach 2 million potential damage. And we didn't need it in this one, but I mean, we were on 41, 45k there with a heal remaining. That's more than enough to get a full value out of a heal as we dip down to 20, 15, 10,000 HP left on our ship. So we can pretty much get full value out of 6 heals on an Ohio. That's pretty insane. Typically, when we have that much healing on a lot of ships that have super heals, this is where we'll see it. We typically run out of health to heal back. By that, I mean, most of the HP we've lost at that point is all the permanent damage adding up. Not things like fires or floods that you can heal back 100% of. It's more citadel damage, which you heal like 10% back of, or full pen damage, which is 30? 50? Something like that. It's not 100%. But hey, we still managed to get it. So I'm not sure where I'm going with these builds. Notice we're missing out on Adrenaline Rush here, which is a pretty big one. Also, just not taking Emergency Repair Specialist, even though this is, you know, the synergy there would be interesting. But Preventive Maintenance is awesome. It keeps our AA mounts and our secondaries alive longer, which maybe I should be trying a full AA build now, right? Like, these skills have both been buffed, not only in the consumables here, but a little more damage output from our AA from both of these. Maybe an AA build's an interesting idea. I don't know. Also, I was running this. Yeah, we were like all in on consumables, guys. That's what that game was. So if you want to try it, you can. Also, auxiliary armaments, full in on DPM secondaries, but also auxiliary armaments, they give you some AA, right? Maybe an AA build, Ohio. That's probably just wishful thinking, but I will try it. Whether or not you see a video on it, probably will tell you if it worked or not. So there you go. That's Ohio. That is the commander skills for now. Plenty more to test through, plenty more ships to look at, but that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.